Chromium, zinc, and lead, a few heavy metals that can contaminate our environment and affect our health. As research scientists, we work to understand the levels of these metals in our cities through field sampling, chemical analysis, and predictive interpolation. Over the next few minutes, we will share some of our environmental research on the lead levels across the Denver metro area. Last month, we collected and analyzed 115 samples locations depicting the varying concentrations of lead in soils and indicating a number of areas of concern, which raised questions. Why do the lead levels vary so much geographically, and what's causing the elevated levels? And which heavy metals are in the soils around our homes and food supply? Now, before we explore results further, let's rewind the clock back to a cold weekend in early January and explain how we started this project. One of our biggest challenges with fieldwork is the collection of the samples. It's time-consuming, expensive, and can often be very disorganized, especially because our field teams usually consist of undergraduate and graduate students without a lot of experience. In addition, our diverse study area can make it hard to find and navigate to our sample sites. So rather than using our traditional paper map and collection forms, we embarked on a new approach to use 3 new ArcGIS apps. We used Navigator, Workforce, and Collector. Our primary goal was to optimize the efficiency and accuracy of our fieldwork. Using the beta release of Workforce, I can coordinate the study. As chief scientist on the project, I use Workforce to assign the sample points to our field teams and monitor their progress. The teams can also report back their notes and status to the office and receive new assignments while in the field. The map shows our sample points, and the ones we've completed are in green. We have 5 field teams, and here we can see their working status and their workload, which is the number of soil samples they still need to collect. Assignments are important because it's a large study area, and some of our points are pretty remote, and we didn't want 2 teams inadvertently showing up at the same collection point and wasting time. So this way, each team only sees their assigned samples. We have a few more samples we want to collect as part of phase 2 of this project, and some have already been assigned to Tony and Jenny. But we still have these couple more we need to assign. I see that Eva is close by, so I'll assign these to her. This is sample 144, and we'll create an assignment here. I'll assign it to Eva with medium priority. I'll have her do it today. It's sample 144, and we'll add a note to collect here. This turns the point gray, showing that it's assigned. I can then continue using Workforce in the browser to monitor the progress. Now we'll switch to the phone. We did all of our data analysis using just our personal iPhones, a little plastic shovel, and a sample bag. Liz is logged in as Eva now, and she'll show you how the mobile apps work in the field. She'll open the Workforce mobile app. Here's the workload in the to-do list and the new assignment, sample 144. She can tap it, it opens, and it shows sample information, including a map. Let's see how close she is. All right, she's not too far. And so she selects Navigate to Assignment, and it opens the Navigator app. This shows a route, and she can start driving. The really great thing about Navigator is that it's integrated with Workforce and Collector, so that it already knows our location and destination without any input from us. Now that she's arrived at the location, she can return to Workforce. It starts the assignment, and it changes her symbol color. She can click Collect at Assignment, and it opens Collector. Collector made our field collection faster, more accurate, and allowed us to collect additional information that's critical for future analysis. We were able to collect at each sample site in just about 3 minutes, with really the only time-consuming part would be jigging through the frozen tundra to get to some soil. Now that she's finished updating the sample information, she can update the data on ArcGIS Online and return to Workforce. She finishes the assignment, it gets removed from her to-do list, and she's ready for her next assignment. Back in the Workforce Dispatcher view, I can see that Eva has completed the assignment and that the point has turned green. Workforce gave us an easy way to organize the project, coordinate the teams, and give clear information about the assignments, even while we were all in the field. But we didn't stop there. Meanwhile, back in the lab, soil samples were dried, sieved, dissolved using concentrated acids in a microwave, and analyzed using our inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometer. After completing the chemical analysis, we could then focus our attention back to our original research questions. How is lead varying? Why? And can we predict lead levels in areas that we didn't collect samples? As a quick first prediction, we can use the empirical Bayesian kriging tool to create a continuous surface. The 3 red samples in the center are intriguing, so let's do some exploratory spatial analysis and look at the data side by side. We hypothesized that the lead concentrations were the result of a number of factors, such as railroads. Research has shown heavy metals in proximity to rail lines, industrial areas, and even power plants. There's a coal-fired power plant nearby, and coal combustion leads to lead emissions. Petroleum refineries, as well as sites that released heavy metals in the last 14 years. There are also Superfund sites that historically had lead contamination. And finally, heavy traffic. This area is surrounded by a network of major highways and busy roads. All of these variables may be significant in understanding how the spatial patterns vary. And more importantly, we can now use these in the new empirical Bayesian kriging regression prediction tool to create a more refined and accurate predictive model. Using the sample points and the lead concentration values, and all of those explanatory variables that we just talked about, we can now create the prediction layer. And for us, this was pretty exciting. Looking at the entire study area, we can see what we believe is a much more detailed and accurate layer that predicts lead levels in the urbanized core and industrial areas, along with radiating spokes of transportation corridors and urban development. The suburban and rural areas have lower concentrations, representing the normal soil background values. Lastly, with a geostatistical approach like this, we can also easily understand the uncertainty in our spatial analysis. In the rural and suburban areas, where the lead values are uniformly low, we see the lower uncertainty represented by lighter colors. However, in the core area, high values and rapidly changing diverse values create higher uncertainty. While there is still more that we want to do, this is the first step in investigating the sources of lead in Denver and how we can optimize and improve our fieldwork and data analysis